Welcome. This is video number 3 in a 4-part series on cosmetic dentistry. Today we're going to be talking about shape of the teeth. Before we talked about the color of the teeth and maybe the position, but today it's going to be on the actual shape of the teeth. So what we can find is asymmetry. What we want to have is symmetry, but when things become asymmetrical, meaning the shape of the teeth when compared from left to right, that can throw off the smile. For example, in this individual, we can see that their left teeth, which I'll circle right here, this tooth, that tooth is much wider and taller than its corresponding partner on the other side. And then we look at this tooth, and again, that one doesn't seem to be the same size as this one over here. So there's asymmetry in the size of these teeth. Next, we may have teeth that are too wide. This individual had crowns placed a long time ago by another dental office, and you can tell that the dentist was trying to fill in the spaces. Perhaps this person naturally had spaces between their teeth, and instead of moving the teeth orthodontically into the right spot, they decided to fill the space by adding extra width to the crowns when they put them in. And so now you can see that these teeth, there's some asymmetry and they're just way too wide. So the shape of these teeth isn't correct. As a side note, what we like to look at when we look at front teeth, if you can look in the mirror, your front tooth should be about 10 units tall by about 8 units wide. And it just happens to work out to be about 10 millimeters or so tall by 8 millimeters wide, give or take, somewhere in that ballpark. But that's kind of where we start with, the front two teeth, and then everything else kind of fills in from there. And so in this example, again, the teeth are not the right shape. You can also have teeth that are too skinny. Sometimes patients will come in and the teeth, not maybe the front two, but the next two over, we see this happen where the way the teeth just grew, they grew too skinny. And so they come in, they might be in the right position, but you can have gaps on the sides of those teeth. So how would you fix something like that? Well, if you have gaps, but the teeth are too small, what happens if you move the teeth orthodontically? Now you're going to have kind of a squished in smile. It won't look quite right. So get the teeth in the right spot, and if the teeth are too small, well, we simply add extra something to that, and that would be porcelain, or it could be composite resin. Either way, there's two ways that we can help widen the tooth and make it more appropriate as far as its shape. We also have teeth that are chipped and worn. That will definitely change the shape of a tooth. For example, this person at the top, they've got very good gum health, the alignment of the teeth are fine, but because of whatever reason, I think they might be grinding their teeth or could have had trauma, the teeth shape has changed, and therefore now it doesn't look like as good a smile as it could. The bottom picture actually shows someone who has just slowly worn them off. The edges may not be jagged, they're smooth, but they're just shorter teeth than what they should be. And then lastly, patients can come in with a chipped tooth. That is obviously going to be a distracting part of someone's smile if a chunk of their tooth is missing. And so those things are easily fixed. And so what are these fixes? I kind of talked about some of them a moment ago, but bonding, that's putting some composite resin on the teeth. There's veneers, which is a porcelain covering that goes over the front of the tooth. Some cases might need crowns in order to fix it, which is porcelain that wraps around each tooth. We talked about orthodontics, moving the teeth into the right spot. And then, or having any kind of gum procedures. Asymmetry, we may have the gums lowered, or raised rather, or we may have it lowered, depending on what it's going to take to kind of level those two things out. So this is video number 3 in a 4-part series where we talked about the shape of the teeth. Next will be I just forgot. And I'll wrap this up. Let me see, hold on. Quantity, okay. So let me wrap up with this. So that's video number 3 in this 4-part series. We talked about shape. The next one is going to be quantity of teeth. Thank you.